Immediately after breaking my window, another agent sticks his arm through and sprays me with OC in the face. And they continue to drag me out of the car.
That is George Retes, an American citizen and a U.S. Army combat veteran. On Fox News Now, he described his recent arrest by Trump administration ICE agents.
Throw me to the ground. Multiple officers, takes multiple officers to detain me for some reason, even though I have OC in my face and I can't breathe. My hands are already behind my back. I have an agent kneeling on my back and another agent kneeling on my neck. All while I'm telling them I can't breathe because of the OC in my face and the tear gas in my lungs.
OC is another term for pepper spray. Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. This arrest of a U.S. military veteran happened near Santa Barbara, California. ICE was raiding a cannabis farm. Protesters began trying to block the raid, and that's when George Retes drove up. He was driving to the farm where he works as a security guard. He stopped, got out of his car, and tried to speak to the ICE agents.
I got out my car. I let them know that I was a U.S. citizen, that I work at the glass house that they raided, and I'm just there to go to work. I wasn't there to protest. I wasn't there to fight them. I was just trying to go to work. They didn't care what I had to say. So I got back in my vehicle, and they followed me to my vehicle.
Within seconds, a group of agents were screaming at Retes.
They surrounded my car. They started beating on my windows. All the agents gave me conflicting orders. Not one of them was in charge or could give me could just take charge of the entire situation. They all their statements conflicted each other. Some telling me to get out my car, some telling me to pull over to the side, some telling me to reverse. They were just confusing, and while all that's happening, I have agents banging on my driver's side and my passenger side window, trying to open my door and get me out of the car, all while everyone else is yelling different things.
With some of the armed agents telling Retes not to move, he stayed put. Suddenly, an agent smashed Retes' driver's side window. Another agent then sprayed chemical irritants in Retes' face. Then, other agents pulled him out, threw him to the ground, and handcuffed Retes behind his back. Again, this is a U.S. citizen and a combat veteran. His military service to the United States is evident on his car.
I have it on my license plate. It says disabled veteran. I have it on a sticker on my window that says Iraq combat veteran. I have an agent kneeling on my back and another agent kneeling on my neck. All while I'm telling them I can't breathe because of the OC in my face and the tear gas.
Retes again tried to explain he is a U.S. citizen and offered to show his ID, but the agents couldn't be bothered. Without saying why they were arresting Retes, the agents took him to the federal detention facility in downtown Los Angeles. Upon his arrival there, Retes again tried to prove his innocence.
I let it be known that I was a citizen, that I served in the military. It didn't change anything. They still threw me in a cell. They didn't let me shower. So the entire time I was in there, I was burning from the OC spray and the tear gas, and They didn't care.
You presented identifications showing that you were a U.S. citizen. They didn't bat an eye at that?
They didn't even allow me to show identification. They asked for my social security number. They asked, that's the only thing they asked for is like my social on a piece of paper and what I filled out.
Retes says he was kept in the jail for 3 days, and then suddenly he was released and told there would be no charges. However, the Department of Homeland Security, when asked about Retes' account, said federal prosecutors are still reviewing the incident, not to examine the behavior of ICE agents, but to possibly bring charges against George Retes. In other words, Retes can maintain his freedom as long as he keeps his mouth shut. Well, that's not happening. As Retes told the Military Times, veteran pledges to sue federal authorities for his ordeal. Legal experts say he has a strong case for wrongful arrest, civil rights violations, and denial of due process. Trump administration officials insist that ICE agents receive training on constitutional rights. But George Retes, who put on a U.S. military uniform and fought to defend the Constitution, suspects the ICE agents only care about numbers.
They're just there to meet a quota. They're just there to meet a quota, and it's if you're not an ICE agent, you're an enemy against them, and they don't care at all.
ICE agents don't care, and if you aren't one of them, you are their enemy. Never mind, of course, that some of the Americans now being arrested include people like George Retes, veterans who fought the enemy and bled physically and mentally in combat places like Fallujah and Kandahar. But now, thanks to the Trump administration, these patriots are being rewarded with smashed car windows, chemicals sprayed in their face, and several days and nights in a jail with no explanation and no due process. Most of us in America actually care about and venerate our veterans. We lionize them with bumper stickers, say thank you for your service, and even praise veterans at nearly every Major League sports event. But the Trump administration treats them as fugitives from justice if they happen to be near an ICE raid and have dark skin. In any other country, this would be viewed as lunacy. In our country, it's just another day under Donald Trump. The message is clear. Loyalty to the flag means nothing if your birth certificate bears the wrong seal, or your complexion isn't pure white, or your name sounds Latino. It is an absolute disgrace. And someday, hopefully sooner rather than later, everybody who keeps engaging or enabling this Trump shamefulness will be held to account. By the way, ICE is already facing a lawsuit for assaulting and arresting a Latino landscaper. That man is the father of 3 U.S. Marines.
¿Y por qué le pegas?
Within hours, the recording of this incident went viral on social media, and soon the story was picked up by the broadcast networks and channels, including CBS News.
This violent arrest was captured on camera. You can see agents restraining a 48-year-old man, repeatedly punching him, blood visible on his shirt as he screamed. We've since learned that man is the father of 3 Marines, 2 active Marines, and 1 Marine Corps veteran.
One agent took a metal rod and slammed it against Barranco's neck while pushing him in the vehicle.
No one, whether you're in a facility detained or on a street corner, should be treated violently. That is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. That can be a violation of the First Amendment, depending on whether someone's peacefully protesting or doing anything else.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from General, who wrote, "I hope they sue ICE into oblivion." I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about ICE facing a lawsuit for assaulting and arresting a U.S. military combat veteran. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.